So my name is Dr. Christopher Davison. I am an associate professor in computer information technology, and we fly. How I got into computer technology, an interesting story. So in the 6th grade, I started that, and I just knew right then that that's what I wanted to do. And I just, vectored my whole life towards it. I was a computer programmer in the Army. As soon as I turned 18, I went to the Army. They taught me COBOL as a language, taught me how to work on the big mainframes and things like that. And when I got out of the Army, I went on to college and just got one degree of all of them: an associate in computer science, a bachelor's in computer science, an MBA that focuses on technology management. My PhD is in information technology. So here I teach a lot of the systems administration classes. So we have a really active computer technology program. You can see in the lab that all of our students, very hands-on kind of stuff. I mean, of course they get lecture, of course they get theory. You can't really understand technology without getting the theory behind it, but we also have a very applied component to our program. So I teach a lot of the server administration courses. I teach a lot of the email administration, electronic communication courses. So what I like, I like a lot of things about those classes, but what I like is, I get to explain research and theory in computer technology, and I get to explain how these protocols came about. I get to explain that to the students, and they get to turn right around here in our wonderful facility, in our wonderful lab, and get to apply that and see that protocol in action and see how that works and see how that provides an IT infrastructure for organizations to use and do their business on, do their research on, and provide a very highly available, resilient, robust infrastructure for organizations. So I like that, and that's also what the students get out of it. The idea is we can help any organization, business, for-profit, not-for-profit, become more resilient. And we work with the folks here in Muncie and the Muncie first responders and the Muncie emergency management office. So the idea is our center can help people, help organizations become more resilient. So what do we mean by that? Resiliency in technology, where we can assist them in maybe writing their business continuity, their disaster recovery plans, or disaster recovery procedures, maybe help them in technology deployment, technology selection, technology management. Certainly we have a lot of talented students that can help. We partner with the Henry County Emergency Management Agency, and we work with a fellow named Ron Huffman and their group out there, working a lot with first responders as well. So we have a huge connection in the emergency management, emergency response, both here in Delaware County and Henry County. And interestingly enough, I'm also part of the Center for Emergency Response Technology. I sit on their advisory board, and that's out in California. And we have a lot of connections with emergency management and emergency response, and those people responsible for recovery and resiliency and availability of organizations, both here and out in California. So TIPPERS is a project that is funded by multiple agencies: National Science Foundation, money from DARPA, and the idea behind TIPPERS is it's a test bed for privacy-preserving spaces. So the idea is that more and more technology is being immersed in buildings, immersed in public spaces, even private spaces, right? The point is TIPPERS is a test bed for IoT privacy. So as we become more and more immersed in this IoT environment and this highly sensorized environment, we give up a certain amount of privacy, right? So we as technologists are not going to stop inventing. So we are looking at mechanisms to ensure privacy preservation, so we can enjoy, all of the IoT environment, all of these highly sensorized environments, enjoy it with some degree of personal knowledge that our privacy is still intact. So the implementation here at Ball State is we're looking at a privacy-preserving social distancing adherence application. So that's a whole mouthful to say, but we've partnered with UC Irvine, and they very graciously gave up their bandwidth and some server and some programming time to look at Bracken Library. And in Bracken Library, we have a website that's out there, and anybody can go to it. You can look at it, and you can see each individual floor and each individual area of interest in Bracken. And as a student, you can say, hey, I want to go over to Bracken, and you look on the Tippers social distancing website that they built for Ball State, and you can see, well, Bracken third floor is in the red. So that means there's a lot of people over there. So you can make some informed decisions and still adhere to the social distancing guidelines. Now, let me add that Tippers over in Bracken is completely passive. It's completely privacy preserving in that there's no personal identifiers taken. It's completely passive monitoring. They can tell if a person has 3 or 4 devices on them, that's still just one person. And they can tell that, oh, this may be a wireless device, but it's a printer, a fixed device. The signal is always the same. It never moves. So I am going to abstract that out of the people count. So some pretty famous algorithms have emerged from that research. Tippers have been deployed at UC Irvine. It's deployed at UC San Diego. Interestingly enough, it's been deployed with the Navy. I'm on another funded project, and this one's funded by the Templeton World Charity Foundation, and it looks at artificial intelligence and machine wisdom. So here's the idea. AI may be very intelligent without being very wise. So you want your AI to make wise decisions, right? If it's always just trying to optimize, then that may not be the decision with the most wise outcome. So we want to mitigate these potential problems through machine wisdom. So the name of the project's a Machine Wisdom Project. I'm partnered with University of Pittsburgh folks on this one. So the idea is we're using the HVAC system, and we're looking at training the HVAC system to make the most intelligent decision, optimization problem, how to set the temperature and the comfort level for everyone, and putting the AI, make it explainable and accountable to the people who are immersed in the area, and make it understandable, and looking at fairness in AI in this respect. The AI can, bring all of this together, make some optimization decision, and also account for other things. The impact on the environment. How much is it going to cost to service all of these requests and come to some sort of consensus? And the AI knows its own system. It knows how the actuators are feeling in all of the air ducts. It knows how the air handler units are feeling insofar as how much maintenance they need, how much stress this would put on it. They also know how much it's going to cost. And the AI is going to come, taking all that into consideration, and any medical conditions that people self-report. So I may have a skin condition that requires me to be, at a cooler temperature, maybe a warmer temperature. Maybe I have some sort of, physical condition I need it warm all the time. So it's going to balance and mitigate that, come to some sort of optimized decision that is going to be wise. It's going to take into account all of the stakeholders and, all of the preferences, and including its own survivability. If this request turns out to be too hard on my actuators, I may tell all you users no. And therein is an interesting problem. I mean, how do you feel about your AI telling you no?